Hello and welcome to a brand new series of RC Racing TV. And as tradition dictates, we start here in rainy Telford.
Whoa! Start. Hello and welcome to... What?
Look, you always do those introductions.
It's my show!
But I'm better at it!
That's not the point. No, I'm not having any of this.
RC Racing, Series 7, Episode 1. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to our special report from the Neo 12. We are in the pits, you can see it's finals morning and we're bringing the entire story of the biggest indoor off-road event in the world, coming up now after this fantastic montage of flying cars.
What brings you to the Neo race?
That's a difficult question. This is kind of like indoor world championships already, so it's really good for testing.
I think everybody comes to Neo race. Obviously the best drivers in the world, the track's great. One of my favorite races of the year.
So it's a really good thing to race against the biggest guys in the world.
It's basically the world's caliber drivers. Everybody's here that'll be at the Worlds, so it's a good judge on how the Worlds are going to go.
Someone said to me it's the Indoor World Championships. It's not really glib, it really is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think out of the top 50 drivers in the world, about 90 to 95% of people are here. I think a bit of it's organisation and it's good atmosphere race, but the track is just spectacular. The dirt, you know, the clay and everything. They built a fantastic track, the DXR people.
And whose idea was it to put an option in this year?
I didn't actually know about that until they did it. It was the DXR guys, the designers of the track. They've actually modified the option a few times to make sure that both the lanes are sort of equally fast. And I think it's working quite well at this stage. You know, you have a passing lane, and if you want to do the double, you can do the double.
I mean, do you think this event is more important this year, and perhaps more as people are trying harder because we're in a Worlds year?
Possibly it has more significance, yeah. I think, you know, going to Worlds is not the easiest thing to do because you have to qualify nationally. Here, anyone has a chance to enter if they're good enough. So I think there's always, you know, you look at a ranking at Neo and it has quite a lot of weight to it.
And now for the semi-finals. So 2.5 days of racing have led up to this. We'll have the Semi B first and then the A, and to talk us through them, it's John Hindhoff.
So we're looking for the first 6 and 3 fastest Lunas. Watch the flag. Oh, it's up. Pretty decent start from Thibaut from pole position as they head down towards the first. Oh, Thibaut goes wide. And through on the inside goes Bataille. Cody King's through in a second. There's all kinds of carnage behind them. Top 4 getting away just a little bit. It is Bataille from Cody King in second. Poleman Thibaut down into third. So they head on to the infield section for the first time. And the leading 4 have got a big advantage after that contretemps. Now here's the option. Go over the washboard or take the whoops. Leader takes the washboard. Not sure there was any major difference between the two different options there. We'll see how that pans out through the semi-finals. As you can see, the line is beginning to get polished after a hard weekend's racing. Little tap there from King in second. Or is that, yes, that's King trying to have a look through. The yellow wheels you normally associate with Bataille. It's easy to pick out, but both of them in first and second with similar colour schemes. Thibaut in third, still in the lighter coloured car, goes very wide there. He's lost a position, and through into third has come Elliot Boots from 9th on the grid. So Boots was the one who really got the advantage of that first accident. Oh, and there's the second place. That's over. That was Cody King, but he's recovered very quickly. No need for the marshal to intervene. So it's still Bataille from King, from Boots. Then Thibaut in the light-coloured machine. There he is going through. He's recovered back into 4th position. He'll not be happy with that from Paul. Through underneath our position again. And this battle rages on. These drivers just starting, I feel now, to get the measure of this Telford circuit. There are a couple of places that are very, very technical indeed. And here's one of them. You've got to get the car slowed right down into that right-hander. The Neo Buggies really at their best around this hard-packed surface. But as you can see, oh, the leader again goes for the washboard. And well, I think it's either or at the moment. Don't see there's much advantage either way for my money. And I am not an expert as the battle for the lead just gets a little bit hot. I'll come back to that in a minute because we have had a change for the lead. And Cody King goes through into the lead. And that's a very nice move. There was a little bit of contact there, but I don't think the stewards will worry about that. That looked clean. The point I was going to make about the washboard is surely the prospect of getting it wrong on the washboard with more bumps is magnified because there's more bumps, and therefore you're more likely to get the buggy out of shape. So take the whoops. It may be that you're in the... Oh, second place goes over. And that is very bad news for Robert Bataille. And through into second place goes the pole sitter, Jared Thibault. He's already got past Elliot Boots. Now, where is Elliot? There he is, just flying the whoops in the middle of the circuit. See if we can pick him up, the sort of purple and white machine there going through the camera shot. And Thibault deciding to hit the washboard there as he goes through in second. There is our leader as he heads... Or, excuse me, no, that's not our leader. That's third place. That is Bataille in third place. Cody is ahead of this battle at the moment and has cleared off, and he must be in traffic now. Can't see him. Got a decent lead. Oh, there he is, just going over the whoops ahead of the lighter coloured car we're following now. And there is the washboard, and there is exactly what I was talking about. The opportunity for disaster is multiplied, and in fairness, Jared Thibault was very lucky there. Excellent work on the throttle. He worked the sticks well there to get the car back on an even keel, but look at the ground he's lost. And surely, if we didn't know before, that is a graphic illustration of why the washboard, perhaps, whilst it looks like you'll be on the ground longer and therefore get more forward motion, is more dangerous. I have to say, he settled down very nicely and regained that little gap that he had. That's a back marker, let's not worry about that. Almost gets right into the third place as they went through. Cody King ahead of this battle at the moment. Has more back markers to deal with for Jared Thibault. Goes through. I didn't notice he had another go at the washboard last time around. I do feel he's pushing his luck just a little bit. King just ahead of us. There he is, just saw a quick flash of the car. Going through, not that far ahead actually, can't afford to rest at the moment. And Thibault again taking the risk. Oh, followed through this time by Bataille, who tries it at least. He's been solidly on the whoops before that. Now that is the leader, and I said that there was no big gap there, and all of a sudden Cody King is coming back to Jared Thibault, and he absolutely misjudged that last whoops there. So is this a concentration thing, or does he have a problem with the car? He certainly doesn't have the pace that he had in the earlier laps. And he's now, you get the feeling, he's driving with one eye on that lighter coloured buggy behind him as he comes in for the pits. So the leader into the pits then. Oh, and he gets caught up with a back marker, and that is going to cost a lot of time. And you really can't afford, just like in Formula 1 or any other form of pit stop racing, you cannot afford any kind of mess up in the pits. You drive so hard on the track to gain tenths of a second, and seconds can be lost in the pits, and that's what's happened there to Cody King. And I certainly feel that when this pit stop schedule runs around, as there, oh well, you see, as I say that, Thibault once again is very, very lucky, because he comes out of the pits, rolls it, but keeps it going. Now, I think that's King behind him. It is. So we have indeed seen at this pit stop cycle, the lead has changed, and clearly, as you saw from the way that Jared Thibault left the pits there, which was unconventional to say the least, that he knew how important it was to get out in front of Cody King, who sits in second place. And there are the leaders just going round onto the start-finish line now. Looking further back down the field, that is Ryan Lutz. And Elliot Boots just losing that position there in the purple coloured car, as Lutz with a little bit more pace there heads off onto the far side of the circuit. Still seeing people using that washboard. I still think it's dangerous, really I do. Now there is our leader Jared Tebow. Well, what a topsy-turvy race it's been. He's still got pressure from behind, started in pole position, went down as far as 4th position, and there is the winning corner, if you like, as he goes through, and there is the winning driver. So confirmation of the 6 qualifiers on the Proline race result, with Jared Tebow, Elliot Boots, Ryan Lutz, Robert Bataille, Cody King and Neil Cragg going through as of right. Everyone from Jesse Roberts down, a lap off the winners, and waiting to see if they'll make it through as one of the fastest 3 losers.
It's all about trying to just run your own race. If you get a lead, you can check out and cruise, and it's hard to push from the back, and that's kind of what happened in Dash for Cash. And yeah, I just have to see. You know, I definitely don't think I'm in my own league or anything. There's a lot of good guys, and this race is very difficult to win, so we'll see.
Stay tuned, coming up we will see the Semi-Final A.
So the second 20-minute semi-final for the Neo Buggies is underway. And again, we've got a whole gaggle of cars together as they come to the first set of whoops. And once again, there's all kinds of carnage. However, it has not affected the man from pole position, Ty Tessman, who leads out. Cavalieri from Mayfield, 2nd and 3rd. Cavalieri goes through for a moment. Can he hold on to it as he goes down the inside? Yes, he can. Fantastic stuff as he usurps the Canadian in the early part. He's really taken advantage there of that broken start, heading off over the whoops, and still a massive gaggle in the midfield. Remember, top 6 qualify as of right, and then it's all about time there for the 3 fastest losers from both of the semi-finals. So the 3 fastest losers, doesn't matter which semi-final they were in, they will then go forward. So these top 3 at the moment are actually sitting very pretty, as we've lost the leader for a moment through. Oh my goodness, everybody was leading there and then nobody was. As they go back through, it's Cavalieri who's got back into the lead. As you just forget the last 5 seconds ever happened. It will just show on the lap chart that he led 1 lap and led the next one as well. Doesn't at all show all of the excitement as over goes the 3rd place driver, Ryan Mayfield. But that hasn't stopped the leading 2 battling on. I always wonder there, as Cavalieri came up short on the big whoops in the middle there, gets away with it. I always wonder whether these guys shouldn't be sort of looking across at each other and going, hey, we're all right, we've qualified. There's no sense in racing for the victory and taking us both out. But of course there's pride here. Any racing driver, once the flag drops, the adrenaline starts, to completely paraphrase the well-known Fraser saying. And these 2 are battling it out, and the Proline tyres doing great work on this now very difficult surface that's been polished from a whole weekend of action here at Telford. Universal praise, by the way, from the driver. Again, the drivers for this this great event, which is really stamping its mark on the calendar. And again, the organisers have come up with a challenging, technical but very quick surface and circuit layout. Notice both of these 2 are taking the whoops rather than the washboard, and I definitely feel that that's the best way. Then again, I don't have these guys' talent or experience, but it does just seem as though there's less opportunity for disaster as Cavalieri then settles into his race pace. Pit stops, remember, will be crucial, and you can't afford to mess them up, as we've seen in races in the past, and indeed even in the first semi-final. A couple of seconds extra in the pit stops. It's no different in this form of racing than it is in any other. You fight of hard, to make up tenths of seconds, and you can lose full seconds and more in the pits. Now, this is a very interesting run in these semi-finals. 20 minutes is one of those awkward times for these drivers that is right on the cusp of one stop or two stops. And there is the opportunity, of course, to drive slightly within yourself and try and stretch, as Cavalieri is trying to push out. Now let's go back down the field. This is 4th and 5th. Savoia and Bloomfield battling it out. And remember, these guys are in as well. 6th is right on it. You don't really want to fall down from there. After that, you're in the hands of the stopwatch. And remember, only the top 6 finished on the first lap in the first semi-final. So if you can stay on the lead lap here, even if you're out of 6th, you may be in with a chance. Now, we've got the top 3 back together. That means that Mayfield, the third of the cars, the slightly darker blue, or more blue, on that Nitro Buggy, has managed to get himself into a lovely rhythm in the middle part of this race, and is beginning just to nibble around the rear end of the leading pair, who are now beginning to fight among themselves, and that could be a real opportunity then for Ryan Mayfield in 3rd position. I do like this part of the circuit. Up and over, get the car on the ground, get it stopped, and then get it turned in, which the leader does, but just clips the barrier and does it again. And that means Cavalieri has dropped away. Well, there he is in 3rd. He's recovered very, very quickly. Mayfield up into 2nd. Fantastic piece of opportunist driver. So Tessman now leading. Mayfield in 2nd. Cavalieri back down to 3rd, but hasn't given up. You can see there in the background. Cavalieri quickly back on his game. So the Canadian leading out, and he's fairly within himself for the moment. You get an idea watching these cars, the buggies in particular. I think you really do see just how relaxed the drivers are, because you start putting a lot of input into these machines and they do move around a lot, and when you're smooth, you're quick. It's like any form of motor racing. And Tessman, for my money, is pulling away, as Cavalieri is having a bit of a battle now with Mayfield in 3rd. So Cavalieri back up into 2nd, Mayfield back down into 3rd, unseen by us there, as the leader gets away from all this. And this is manna from heaven, of course, for the Canadian Tessman. Now, that looks fairly steady. Pit stop due, yes. 2nd and 3rd in together. Now, let's see how the pit work goes. In goes the fuel, out goes the car. In goes the fuel, out goes the car. It's almost McLaren-like, isn't it? A couple of seconds and they're back off. But a slight mistake there on rejoin by Mayfield. And you saw him pause there for a moment and then start. That's because he doesn't want to be seen to have taken advantage by cutting the circuit. And that's heads-up driving from Mayfield. He's in a qualifying position at the moment, and what he doesn't need is a time penalty or to be brought back into the pits for any kind of penalty run. As we're back with our leader, Ty Tessman. And he is doing a very good job indeed. Again, look at the body language of the car. Coming round to lap some of the other drivers. And this is a danger time. This is Externa, or was about to be Externa, going a lap down. Now this is 2nd and 3rd again. Jerome Sartell is the man who is right in front of them in the purple machine, who has pretty decent heads-up driving there. As through goes Cavalieri and Mayfield. Just about everybody now using the whoops and eschewing the washboard on the inside. It looks a shorter line, but still for me, too dangerous when there's so much at stake. Remember, qualification for the finals, top 6 plus the fastest 3 losers on aggregate from both of the semis. Oh, and there's an attack there, and that looks like Cavalieri made a mistake there, came down on top, and through goes Mayfield into 2nd place. And Mayfield will be thinking his birthdays and Christmases have come together as he gets through there without having to make the move himself. Now here is Tessman And he has made his first pit stop. As we said, right on the cusp of being 1 and 2. Nice and clean. He's held on to the lead. Went longer. Oh, and he's made a mistake just as I was talking about the curse. The commentator watched to see through there. There is Mayfield. Mayfield's just gone through. Just as I was about to say, he went longer into the race, which bodes well for later. He makes a mistake, perhaps easing his pace a little too much with the thought on fuel saving. And he's given up that advantage and the lead to Mayfield. Mayfield then from Tesman in second. Now, Mayfield did stop quite a bit earlier than Tesman, and I'm wondering, this is the time when we need Radio Le Mans' Paul Truswell to work out the laps, because I'm wondering if Mayfield can go the distance from here. Tesman had done a really good job. And he comes and gives up the lead. Well, it must have been really close. That wasn't a full fill, he's out. But they clearly were worried about not making the end, and again a mistake, exactly what he did coming out the pits on his first stop. Now that's dropped him down the field, but I think he'll still be all right in terms of qualification. It means he won't fight for the lead. There is our leader, Tesman. So that mistake then perhaps not quite as costly unless he needs to make another stop, and I don't think he does. He went much further into the race than either Mayfield or Cavalieri. Now there's Mayfield, and he's, well, more than the length of that long start straight behind the leader. And I think that's Savoia, isn't it, in third place. Got a quick flash of him. And here is the Canadian who has run a very... Oh! Every time I speak about, he's not going to be my friend at the end of this. I'm off the Christmas card list there. He has, though, driven a very, very good race as we start the last lap. Time has just about elapsed, and he's got to keep it together. He will take the victory and qualify. This has been a very nicely paced race by the Canadian, and still lapping traffic, no doubt about his qualification. And I'd say he's in pretty good form, just needs to tidy up one or two little mistakes, and he is going to put himself in a really good position for the final. Ty Tesman comes through and takes the victory. Ty Tesman takes a relatively relaxed victory with Ryan Mayfield, then Savoia, Cavalieri, Bayer, Ron and Falk on our Proline race results qualifying as of right. Darren Bloomfield in 7th in this semi-final will make it to the final as well, and he'll be joined by Jesse Robbers and Josh Wheelers from the first semi-final. Remember, that was decided on time.
Ty Tesman, a victory there for pit stop strategy, because you just lost the lead but you didn't have to stop again.
Yeah, my car can go 10 minutes, so it was a little bit of advantage over Mayfield.
Looking towards the final, obviously it does appear to be you versus Thibaut. Do you have what it takes to beat Jared?
I think so. If I drive good, it's just, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yes, that's for sure. It will be interesting. So stay tuned for the final after the break. If you've just joined us, we're at the #1 indoor buggy race in the world, the Neo 12. And coming up very soon, we have the main final. Well, as you know, we always have a competition on RC Racing and rcracing.tv, but this month the manufacturers come up short. So we've had to improvise. We have a t-shirt here, one of our fantastic P1 brand t-shirts. We'll get signed by a number of drivers, but more importantly, we have the truck of stuff, driven by our happy trucker, Ollie. We're going to go around the pits and see what we can get given to us, which we're going to give to you as this month's competition. Drive the truck, Ollie. Can you donate something to our truck of stuff, Phil?
It looks great. It looks great.
And donate a prize to our truck of stuff.
I'll do that.
There. Oh, look at that. The first prize from Uncle Phil. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We wanted to do a competition, but no one gave us anything. Oh, look at that. The generosity knows no bounds. Thank you very much, Harrison. But now, Gordon, we have an issue here. The manufacturer let us down. We have no competition prizes. So what we're asking is for just something. Hey, it's a Frostings bar. Thank you, guys. Fantastic work. Onward with a truck of stuff.
I think I could.
Fantastic. Oh, that is a prize and a half, that one. Whoa. Don't get the cash, though.
Yeah, I keep the cash.
You keep the cash, fair enough. Can you donate something from your pit table or your bag to our truck of stuff?
Free?
Just free, yes.
Can I put maybe a mechanic in?
We can't repost a mechanic at the other end. Oh, look at that, a genuine win. Oh, actually, that might be going.
I'll see what I can do.
Dig in your bag.
It's not really clean. You can have a nice...
Oh, cleaning cloth, a professional cleaning. This is fantastic. Hey, you don't know how much this means to me. This has real monetary value. It's not just aggro plug, it's the plug. It's the dropped plug. It's look at this. This truck will never leave the ground. It's got 3 wings in it now. Hey! Oh! This is great. A set of tyre. This is beyond. This is the best thing so far. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If you want to win all this and the signed t-shirt, you need to go to www.rcracing.tv and click win, and all this stuff, some of it is actually genuinely unique and really good, will be yours. That's right, www.rcracing.tv and click win. Yes, good luck with that. Now, before the main final gets underway, let's look at a 1/8 buggy of the electric variety, up close and out in the elements. So as the crowds gather to watch this, the culmination of the Neo 2012, it's the end result of the efforts of 354 competitors taking part in 48 practice heats, 85 qualification heats, and already 30 finals. Let's see who are your final 15.
Jared Tibor from the United States on the Kyosho is our pole man for the final. Ty Tesman on the HPI with the Proline tyres in second. Then Mayfield from the USA on the Associated. Kyosho is in fourth position with Elliott Boots. Ryan Lutz from the United States on the Durango in fifth position. Then the Mugen, another different chassis in sixth position for the Spaniard, and that's Robert Bataille. In seventh, Cody King from the USA on the Kyosho. X-Ray in eighth position. Renault Savoia from France. In ninth, Neil Cragg has the Associated. And in 10th, another Associated, this time for the American Ryan Cavalieri. Czech Republic, X-Ray, Martin Bayer in 11th. And in 12th, Jesse Roberts from the USA on the HPI. David Ronenfalk from Sweden is next up in 13th. 14th is Darren Bloomfeld. And Josh Wheeler is in 15th position. Stand by for 45 minutes of action. Oh, was there a little jump start there halfway down the grid? It hasn't affected the leader though. Thibaut gets away and leads them out. Fantastic battling going on, and at last we've got a decent start where the midfield haven't taken themselves all out. That's great news for us as spectators, bad news for Gerard Thibaut, who is leading, and it just means he's got more people to fend off as Tessman, the Canadian, hangs on in second place. And these two already beginning to make a bit of a break. And both of them going over the whoops for the moment at least, not taking the washboard option as the Canadian goes wide. Almost gives up a position to Mayfield as the leader pushes away. Is that Mayfield through the second? No, he's still in third position. The two blue buggies battling there as Mayfield comes really high over those infield whoops and tries to get some kind of pressure on the Canadian in front of him. And this is the battle at the moment. Second and third position. The leader able to get away, and you can see him just stretching off in the distance. Made a slight mistake there though, Gerard Thibaut. So he just hit the back of that whoops, and it looks like we've got a three-buggy battle for third place. Oh, now there's somebody taking the infield. Neil Cragg there, the UK driver. Not sure that it really helped him out. Got to be so precise on the sticks there to get through that washboard section. And just a little bit too much gas, and you really can get in trouble very quickly. So that is second and third position changing as Mayfield goes through into second. And is Tessman going to be troubled again as Elliot Boots comes through? It's another good start from Boots, and he's managed to avoid any problems at the start as he heads through, challenging for third position. Our leader at the moment in what for this type of racing is elegant isolation. He's got the better part of a second or so in hand, and that means he can drive his own race, and you have no idea what a great luxury that is. As you can see, he picks his line, he can take the most productive racing line, goes to the outside again, being closed down on though for a moment. Now he's got to forget what's going on behind him. So easy surely for your concentration to just wander back to what the guys behind you are doing, which is exactly what's happened there. Mayfield making a mistake, and Tessman has gone back through into second. There is Tessman, who has impressed me. I liked his attitude, 19 years old, the Canadian, perhaps not a name that's familiar to too many of the Europeans, but he has, as I say, impressed me this weekend with his attitude. Seems to be relatively calm and collected, doesn't get flustered very easily. Also a very fuel efficient drive in his semi-final. In fact, that got him the win, to be honest. He manages to be able to be quick over the ground without burning too much, which is always a very good trick to have up your sleeve. Doesn't matter how big the racing car is, if you can get the best mileage out of it and not lose time. Clearly saving a pit stop, as he did in that semi-final that he qualified through from, is quite an advantage. At the moment he's smooth, he's calm and collected. I've probably put the hex on him now. See him go flying off in 2 corners time, hopefully not. He's got Mayfield for company, and he's not letting that fluster him at all as we continue to watch the battle for second. The leader is getting away just a little bit, settling into a rhythm now. Relatively long race, and I really still can't. I've commentated for a while on this type of racing, and I still don't know how these guys have the levels of concentration required to do these longer races, 45 minutes. Even the 20-minute semi-finals, certainly well beyond me. It is extraordinary. A slight mistake there by Mayfield in second, allows Elliot Boots to, in third, excuse me. It allowed Elliot Boots to just have a little nibble there. I'm thinking of him in second because the leader's got away so much. But through they go. Boots there now. It looks like first and second have closed up just a little bit too, further ahead of this battle we're watching. Look for the light coloured cars, just going out a shot there on the right hand side, and in fact there they are, and that is Thibaut. And now has Thibaut had an accident, incident, or just a loss of concentration, because the lap times don't really show that Tessman, excuse me, in second has speeded up. This is very consistent again by the Canadian, and this is what has caught my eye this weekend. And even though he's caught up with the leader, he seems very calm. It doesn't seem as though he wants to force the issue this early on. He's just biding his time, picking his moments. And again, look at the body language of the two buggies. To me, it does look as though T-Boy's driving a little harder at the head of the field. He'll squeak out maybe 5 or 10 lengths, but the consistency of the Canadian in second place, it's just metronomic, isn't it? And his lap times bear this out. Coming through there to join this battle, that looks like Mayfield has shaken off Elliott Boots for the time being at least, and we're going to have a 3-buggy battle for the lead any second now. Watch in the background for the third of the 3 buggies. There it is. Now, this is going to be very interesting for Ty Tessman. He won his, do we have the leader? No, I thought the leader had dived in for a stop there. Tessman won, and he's gone through as a mistake by the leader. I was about to say that Ty Tessman won his semi-final without having too much to worry about from behind, but now he has got Mayfield in his wheel tracks, and one thing we know about Mayfield is that he will have a goal. Very aggressive driver, and does like, if he's got in position, to have a crack at the overtake. Meantime, at the moment, as the leader goes through, some lap traffic there, just catching my eye for a moment. The battle is for second and third, and Mayfield's gone through, I think. Yes, he has. Mayfield's gone through on T-Bow. So we've got Tessman leading from Mayfield there in the blue, mostly blue car in second. The mostly white car in third is Jared T-Bow. And Jared will not be happy about that. Started on pole position, and he's rather squandered that opportunity. He's won the previous 3 times he's been here as Jared T-Bow, and therefore you would say that he likes Telford. Now obviously the track is not always exactly the same. Different in the challenges that have been set, including that option this year, which seems to have caught more people out. Just coming around to it now, you can go off to the left and over the whoops, as both of those drivers have. Just saw on the inside though, the undulations of the washboard section, of the organisers have been calling it. It's very aptly described, as that's exactly what those corrugations look like. It does look a shorter line, but very, very difficult to keep the power down and to get the consistency of the suspension travel over those very, very difficult striations. Most of the top drivers have been opting to go the longer, but they think quicker way around. I think you see it perfectly there on the left-hand side of that shot, just how bumpy that is, as Ty Tessman has been brought back just a little bit by the second and third place drivers, and once again the leading 3 are together, with traffic having already played a part for these drivers. They've put a couple of drivers laps down already, and here is then the battle for the lead. As for the moment, T-Bow's dropped out of this, and it's Tessman with the 2 who leads out. Slightly more white, I think, on that leading buggy. Oh, and he's gone over! Oh, and he's just misjudged the whoops on the far side to the right, as into the pit lane comes Mayfield, and right behind him, that was Tessman. So they were both coming in for pit stops. Very, very quick stop by the Canadian, by the way, because he had made a mistake there and lost what I thought was more time than that. But that's a fantastic turnaround by his pit crew, and as you can see, they're straight back at it, and over has gone Mayfield. Mayfield's over. The marshals scramble over to get him back underway, but that is Mayfield, and he's dropped positions. Certainly Tessman has gone through, and more importantly, he has lost ground as Tessman has gone through. That was a back marker, I think, going over there. Now there is Jared T-Bow, yet to make his pit stop. So he's going deeper into this race, at least on this cycle. And that could pay dividends for him later on. He's got a clear track in front of him as well, so his lap times are better. And of course, he's not having to fight with anyone else for position. But surely it can't be long before he peels into the pits. He's coming in now. Oh, up through the pit camera there. And into the pit area. Very nicely done. Not trying to rush. And he's a long way ahead. He's really made the best. Again, like any other form of racing, your last couple of laps before the pit stops and the first couple of laps after them makes a huge difference. And Thibaut has really played that tactical game very, very well. Loved the shot from the Proline pit camera up the hill there as he came into, and it just shows how tight that is actually for the guys to be able to get in and out of the pits. Not the wide open spaces out on the circuit as in here. There's the perfect look at the whoops there as Mayfield heads round and clicks off another lap. But in that pit lane it is very tight. You've got to be precise and you want to get to your pit crew so that they can get you refueled and get you back into the action as quick as possible. So there is the Canadian, Ty Tessman, in second place. So he did not lose out after that mistake. He's done very well. The pit crew have turned him round. Mayfield not having as good an outlap as we saw, getting caught up with the traffic. And there is Jared Thibaut, who looks to be cruising at this point in this final of the Neo Buggies at Telford. And he must know that he's got a good advantage now. And really, even at this relatively early stage, he must know that this is his to lose. He just has to keep racking off the laps and keep the consistency going. There will be thoughts of fuel consumption, and how many pit stops will be the right number here. But he's dealing with the traffic very, very well. Should say that all of the drivers are exhibiting pretty good heads-up driving and not trying to get involved in battles that aren't theirs. Cavalieri and Lutz a little further down the field. Cavalieri with the yellow wheels, just making a slight mistake. Lutz having a look, and well, they've kind of sorted themselves out over the washboard area. Neither of them coming out of that with any degree of decency. As again, traffic is beginning to become an issue. We're still watching Lutz there on the purple Durango as he heads round. Now, all of a sudden, at the head of the field, it seems as though that Jared Thibaut has eased his pace just a little bit too much while we were watching that battle further down the top 10. And there is Thibaut going through traffic. Now, where is his competition? Right behind him, in the shape of Mayfield. No, Tessman, excuse me. Thibaut from Tessman. Ty Tessman in second place. And has he rattled the leader? Has the Canadian teenager, just begun to put enough pressure on to Jared Thibaut, immensely experienced driver, of course. Well, he's got the rhythm back now. So Tessman now heading up towards the back of the leader, but looking at the pit stops, it could be that Tessman needs to make another stop, and there he is coming into the pit lane. And we think, I'm reliably informed by people who know this, as Atsushi Ohara was doing the fueling there for his teammate. Broke down in the quarterfinals. Shame not to see him here, Atsushi Ohara. I'm reliably told that that will be the last stop for Tessman, but we think Thibaut can go all the way, which would be quite remarkable if he can. But if he can, then he has a massive lead. But of course, there's no prizes for 3/4 of a lap. Can't afford to get stuck out there on the circuit. So has Jared Thibaut played the tactics, played the pace right. Remember, he got away, then was caught back up again. Was that him just playing the canny game of not needing to use all of the power all the time, just coming off the throttle, coming off the sticks a tiny bit earlier, getting back on just slightly less aggressively? There is the Kyosho of the American Jared Tebow on his last lap. This has been a masterclass of speed, of concentration and of efficient driving. He looks as cool now as he did just before the start. The checkered flag is waiting for him and he will be the champion at the Neo Buggies. There is the confirmation. Jared Tebow takes it. Pretty much a demonstration drive from Jared Tebow. Everything came for him. Ty Tessman in second place, the first of the Proline Tyres drivers, and Ryan Mayfield in third position. Then Cavalieri, Lutz and Bataille for the top 6. And now it's time to go down to the winner with Nick Damon.
Jared Tebow, 4 out of 4. It gets easier, doesn't it?
It definitely doesn't get easier. The competition was crazy. Me and Ty were so close. Just came down to a bit of strategy. You know, my Maxima fuel, my Orion engines are just amazing, and I can get just crazy run time. And you know, I was doing 11.5 no problem. And you know, they were pitting earlier, and I knew that get in their head a little bit and they'd have to start pushing harder because they knew they had to be ahead of me before the last stop. And I kept Ty behind me, and you know, once he stopped, the gap was huge, and I think he just started pushing too hard, and you know, I just had to keep it on all 4 wheels. You know, it's really difficult to drive the loose conditions, and especially with the dust, you have to be really precise, and that's something that I love.
Ty Tessman, well, that's a case of so near but not quite enough, yeah?
Yeah, everything was going good, and then he just had one less pit stop, but it was exciting at the start, so.
Yeah, you actually had the lead for a couple of laps, and just before your first stop, you kind of rolled it, didn't you?
Yeah, I got a little squirrely on that jump, and then I think I hit a bump or something and shot off track, so it's my mistake.
So, moving forward to the rest of the season, is your aim now to try and get your machines more economical?
Yeah, definitely try to get the more mileage. Some tracks doesn't help, but this one obviously did. Just keep trying.
So what you really want to do is pick up this surface and take it to Argentina in December?
Yeah, that'd be nice. I hope it's loose there. We'll see.
Well, congratulations to Jared. That kicks off Series 7 in style. But don't wait around till the next episode. Go to rcracing.tv right now and click win for our Truck of Stuff competition and literally hundreds of hours of RC racing action.